I'm Robert Donachi, and I'm here with Dan Crenshaw, a Navy SEAL veteran, a sixth-generation Texan, and a graduate of the Harvard Kennedy School. He's running to replace Congressman Ted Poe of Texas in Congressional District 2. So Dan, you've spent the majority of your time as an adult in the military. A very different commitment to public service than becoming a politician. So it makes you want to run for Congress.
Right, I get asked that question a lot. You know, I was part of a very credible institution, and I want to be part of an institution that has very little credibility. And I think it needs a lot of credibility, and I hope that guys like me can bring that credibility to Congress, because we're problem solvers. We care about impact, we care about mission, we care about service before self, and I think Congress could use a little bit of that.
Yeah. So you just got done with a primary race in March. You faced 8 Republican challengers, including Kathleen Wall, a Houston businesswoman who threw roughly $6 million of her own money into the campaign, had the endorsements of Governor Greg Abbott, Senator Ted Cruz, and despite her great deal of wealth and facing lawyers and bankers, you were able to come basically out of nowhere and edge out everyone except for Texas State Rep Kevin Roberts. So now you're in a runoff with him. So as someone who's never held political office, who doesn't necessarily have a lot of political connections until now, what do you think about your campaign and your candidacy really resonated with Houston area voters?
It's just about connecting with people, and that's what we did. You know, we worked real hard. I was always trying to get in front of as many people as I could. Maybe I went to a bar or restaurant and just shook hands, went to every table and said hi to them. Went door to door, you know, had meet and greets scheduled, and you've got to give the people a way to access you. I think that's what public office should be, and you know, a lot of my opponents didn't do enough of that. And you know, it's not just Kathleen Wall who put a lot of money into this. Kevin Roberts put a ton of money as well, and so did some other opponents. So we had some very stiff competition, good people in the race. But we came out because our message was strong, you know, and I think you just have to be genuine with voters. You have to be honest with voters. I think they can sense when you're just trying to tell them what they want to hear. Mm-hmm. And I really try not to do that. And it's just about connection. I mean, that's what leadership is. You got to give them the sense that you're going to take care of them. And that's the only reason you're really there. And it really is the only reason I'm there, is you got to take care of your people. It's something we learned early on in the SEAL teams.
So speaking of Roberts, he's running on a platform of experience matters, and he uses that to say, you know, I've been in Texas politics, I have the connections, I've served in the state house, and I'm a lawyer, so I know how to legislate, or I would know how to legislate if given the opportunity. And he thinks that's going to click with Houston voters. He said he's not going to change his campaign going forward when he's just taking you on. What do you say to that?
A few things. Experience does matter. Now we'll have to talk about the type of experience. You know, do you want a politician, or do you want somebody who's not a politician? He's running on being a politician. That's what he wants to continue to be. In his experience, so he's good at managing an office of lawyers. He's not a lawyer himself. He doesn't have a law degree. You know, I know how to manage an office too. I've managed over 50 people in some of the scariest environments imaginable. I've managed millions and millions of dollars worth of funding. I've worked across different government agencies, the State Department, the CIA, foreign governments, law enforcement, all across the military. That's relevant experience, okay? So he's right, experience does matter. We have to talk about what is relevant experience for this seat. If I was running for a state house seat, then yeah, he would have a little bit more experience than me. He's done 1 term in the state house, and but we're not running for a state seat. We're running for a federal seat, and the only one running who has any federal experience is myself. So he's absolutely right. Experience does matter. Your education matters. I have a master's degree in public policy. I've worked on Capitol Hill. I've worked on these issues, been thinking about these issues for a very long time. That's why I went to the federal side and not started out on the state side, because you have to ask yourself, where can you better serve? And you know, my expertise is national security, it's defense, it's foreign affairs, and it's public policy at the federal level. I have the education for it, I have the experience for it. Mm-hmm. And you have to serve where you can do best for the American people, and for me, that was Congress.
One of the more interesting campaign platforms that you have, and I think it's something that differentiates yourself a little bit from your opponent, even on the left, is that you have a platform of trying to keep kids off the streets and out of gangs. Mm-hmm. So could you tell people who aren't really familiar with the Houston environment a little bit about gang violence there, or kids on the streets, and then what do you have in mind for bringing them in for for this policy?
Well, if you look through my policy issues, there's a lot of things you can do from a legislative perspective. That's what we do from Congress. And then there's other things. There's things that you do because you're a leader and you're involved in the community and you can use your status for good. And then that's what really excites me about public office. So what I was talking about specifically with gang violence is it's nothing complicated. It's not some new government program. It's just going to talk to kids. Kids who are reaching that age, maybe 13, 14 years old, where, okay, that pull into a gang, that pull into that sense of camaraderie and being a tough guy, it's starting to attract them. What if they just simply heard a different path? And I can show them a few different paths, okay? What it's like to be part of a Ranger battalion or a Special Forces unit or a Navy SEAL platoon. That's also a pretty cool path, and you can be tough and you can have that sense of camaraderie. Just show kids these things. Show them what you can accomplish if you start early. And I bring a sense of credibility to that I think is important. And maybe we just turn a few kids, all right? But it doesn't take any taxpayer money. It just takes leadership. And there's more ideas like that out there. What about exercising? What about tackling childhood obesity, which is another problem we have in Texas? And just going out and running with kids. And again, showing them a path that if you just started with this basic building block of nutrition and fitness, and this is important to me too, not just because of my experience in the SEAL teams and what I bring to the table and that kind of expertise that I bring because of that, but I lost my mother to cancer when I was really young. And before she died, she was a nutritionist at Katy ISD, the independent school district there. And that's always stuck with me. That was her passion. She did her master's in nutrition at Texas A&M. And what better way than to I think honor her memory than to help the kids that she wanted to help. And I know we can do that. And again, it doesn't take silly government programs and wasteful government spending. It just takes leadership. It just takes talking about it and going out and taking some action.
So gun violence, gun control. Yesterday, there was a shooting at YouTube. We had the Parkland shooting. We had Sutherland Springs in Texas. Just under 2 weeks ago, about 500,000 young men and women, including and adults, marched on Washington. You heard from the Parkland students. We see a gun debate raging right now in the United States. I'm interested, as somebody who's running in Texas. Texas has over 10% of all registered guns in the United States. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a pro-Second Amendment state. Yeah. What are the nuances that you see in your district? What are the people that you're speaking with? What are they saying about this?
We don't see the same kind of emotion that you're seeing in these marches. Mm-hmm. I think the marches are much like a lot of the marches you've seen recently, are largely just a leftist march against the president, vice a coherent, policy-oriented march. Mm-hmm. They want to ban AR-15s. They don't even know what they are. They want to ban automatic rifles. They don't know those are already banned. It's hard to even have a discussion when this is the type of policy considerations we're taking. And I'll be very clear, I'm not in favor of banning AR-15s because it wouldn't do any good. You always have to ask, when we're talking about a policy, does it feel good or does it do good? Okay, and when you're talking about banning assault rifles or so-called assault rifles, that's really a made-up term, is it going to do any good? Well, no, because the vast majority of gun violence comes from handguns. Maybe 2 or 3% is rifles, and it's not clear to me that 2 or 3% would even go away just because you ban rifles. They would simply substitute that for a handgun. That's a reasonable way to discuss this, but that's not the discussion currently taking place. Now in my district, people are still ready for some kind of extra control. I hear that even from conservative voters. It's my job as a leader to kind of steer them, okay, what would that look like? Let's actually do some good, whether it's enforcing our laws in the background check system, fixing the background check system, requiring that it's actually used the correct way. Let's start there. Because that is important. I don't believe in putting guns in the hands of the wrong people. Anyone with a violent criminal history, I think that's a pretty reasonable measure. But unfortunately, a lot of the proposals are unreasonable and wouldn't do any good. And I think the debate, the policy debate, the nuances of the policy debate are getting lost in a lot of emotion. And as policymakers, we shouldn't respond to emotion to make decisions that could potentially infringe on your Second Amendment right and infringe on your ability to defend yourself. That is something that I will not allow to happen.
Every two years, every 4 years, when there's an election, Texas is going to turn blue. We hear this all the time. What are your thoughts?
It's not looking that way. You know, there was a much higher Democratic turnout in the primaries than other Democratic turnouts in previously, but still Republican turnout during the primary was still much higher. And I'm definitely not worried about it in my district in particular. The turnout was, again, much higher on the Republican side than it was on the Democrat side, but my district isn't really considered a swing district. You know, we should be worried. We shouldn't be comfortable in some of the districts that I think Democrats will target, like John Culberson's, Pete Sessions, Will Hurd's. You know, if I'm lucky enough to make it to the general, and I'll be campaigning with those guys as much as they'll let me, because I believe that we are a team and that we need to keep Texas red. I think Texas has gone a long way by using conservative policies, and I don't want to see that go away.
And you now have the endorsement of Tom Cotton, Senator Tom Cotton.
Yep.
Can you tell us a few more endorsements that you got?
Well, I mentioned Pete Sessions, Tom Cotton, Scott Taylor out of Virginia, Brian Mass, Mike Gallagher. You know, we're kind of getting this. You're starting to see a trend here. You know, young veterans from these wars that we're currently in, really stepping up to the plate and, you know, sticking together and having a vision for a better America and a better conservative movement that will last another generation. Again, big reason I'm running. I want to attract young people to our party. I think we need to expand our demographics a little bit. You know, I speak fluent Spanish because I lived in South America. We need to be reaching out to Latino voters who are conservative at heart, and we need to connect with them. That's what leadership is. I keep going back to this. It's just about connecting. And we can't be too lazy to actually go and just talk to people just because we don't think they'll vote for us. Well, why don't we try? That's a big issue for me, making sure that we have a conservative movement in 50 years.
Dan Crenshaw, running for Texas too. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Really a pleasure to be here.